Well, good morning from the Hieroglyphic Trail here in Arizona. Today's the 27th of June, 2024. And I've decided today, since this is the last full day here at the Lost Dutchman State Park, to go ahead and take a short drive over to the Hieroglyphic Trail. It's a trail that I walked about a year ago when I was here, and what really surprised me was the prolific amount of petroglyphs that had been painted or carved in the rocks along the old creek bed that we're going to see here in a little bit. It's a beautiful hike. It's not a very aggressive hike, although it's about 87 degrees right now, and it is 7 a.m. and it's supposed to get up to about 106, 107 today. So, and there is no wind, which doesn't really help matters any. So we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of hiking this morning on our last day and check these beauties out. It's kind of interesting when you think about it that the lands, especially down here in the American Southwest, you know, when you, there's the rabbit. You know, as I'm walking these trails here and I'm looking at these cactuses and I'm seeing the mountain ranges and stuff like that, that it wasn't really that long ago that none of these houses were here, but the trails weren't here, right? And that really was the land of, you know, the indigenous people, the Native Americans, tribes like the Apache, who, if I'm not mistaken, this was part of their land, right? I think the superstitions were part of their sacred area. And here we are about 200 years later, and you know, it's all gone, you know, which is too bad. Go ahead and get us in. Go ahead and lock us back up here. Probably to keep the animals out. There we go. But I mean, it's really interesting when you think about it, because you're really looking at time and how time and progress can really affect not only the landscape but the people on the landscape. And I think we're seeing that a lot today too. We're seeing this big shift in perspectives, which in a lot of cases is just not great. There's something going on that's not quite right. But I offer it's no different than anything else, where wherever there's some kind of progress forward, something needs to be destroyed. And it's a shame, but it just seems to be the cyclical nature of life on this planet, you know. And it's too bad, because, you know, you hearken back to the older days of the cowboys and the Indians, and you take a look at the old photos from the late 1800s of Billy the Kid and Geronimo, and these were people, flesh and blood people, just like you and I, you know, that they're gone and they will never come back. And their cultures, their philosophies, their perspectives on life will never come back. You know, we can want it, we can desire it, we can try to emulate it. The fact is, it's gone. And again, it's no different than today. What we're used to today will be gone in another 10 to 20 years. And I've seen that. You know, I'm a child of the 80s, and it was a different time back in the 80s. You know, and I'm sure every generation says the same thing, but it really was a different time. So is progress good? Some ways yes, some ways no. But either way, progress is progress, and people are going to keep trying to move forward and change and settle on something that feels right to them, even though it doesn't necessarily feel right to us. It is what it is. Finally into the shade of this mountain over here, thankfully, because that's kind of what I was hoping for, is some of the shade, because it was getting hot already in the sun. Okay, we're coming up after about a mile or so to where the pictographs are. First we have to get through this section here. It's not very long. But again, it's a pretty warm day today, so I forgot my hiking stick. So this is the area. Now, you're probably saying I ain't seeing nothing. It's because from the other side of this creek bed up here. But you'll notice with the black patina, this is a perfect location for doing things like this. So it makes sense. Now, whether or not there's any water, because it's also a spring. Probably not. There we go. There's the hieroglyphics, quote unquote, on the other side. And we're going to be walking over there. You can see them all along and through there. We're going to take a walk over there and see them a little closer. Well, it looks like there's a little bit of water in the stream, but nothing I would drink. But these are the petroglyphs. And there are really quite a few considering the location. I mean, it's kind of an out of the way spot, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I want to go down in there. Don't you see all the drawings? They're really stunning. Thousands or hundreds of years ago, people did this, you know. I keep saying thousands, but I tend to forget that these cultures weren't that long ago. All through here. There's only a few on that side, which I didn't notice before. We'll go over there and look at those here in a minute. But I think the key thing when it comes to visiting any site like this, and I've heard people say this before, and it's one of those things where you go, yeah, we know. Don't screw with anything, don't deface anything, don't damage anything, don't put your graffiti. There's really no reason for you to leave your mark. Yeah, maybe in 400 or 500 years somebody might appreciate it, but in those 400 and 500 years people are going to hate you, and you don't want to go there. But just look at these. Absolutely gorgeous. I'll come along here a little bit, being careful not to fall into the cesspool, which is below. I'm going to climb up. And I'm not stepping on any petroglyphs, but I do want to get us up a little bit closer here. So they're all up through here. You can see the animals, the deers, the elks, a lot of those types of animals. And other designs as well. Well, that was the Hieroglyphic Trail with the petroglyphs. And really where I'm standing right now, which is maybe, I don't know, 50 feet away, I'm seeing on the ground here, and I'm going to turn the camera just so you can see it. There's petroglyphs carved right in the rocks here too, so there's a couple right there. So it's not just restricted to that area, which begs the question, are there other petroglyphs in this area? Well, probably there are. Now we can take a walk a little bit. The trail basically ends here, however, and everything that's up that valley is all uncharted, or should I say not on the trail itself. I have been up that way. It is a rough go, but I'm willing to do a little bit just for this video. So let's take a walk up that way and see if we can see any more petroglyphs at any of these boulders that have come down the side of the mountain. Yeah, let's check it out. See, it is a curious question that I've had many times in the past when it comes to places like this. You know, why there? Why specifically there? Yeah, it's got a nice rock wall there, but if you notice up on the side of this cliff here, that's all black and patinaed as well. So the question is, why not up there? Was it just too difficult to get at? Or was there another reason? Did more people come through the entrance to the valley here, and that's where people left their art, left their messages? Is that, was that their idea? Or was it just because it was easier? I mean, I don't know, and I don't know if anybody's really going to know the answer to that. But it does make you wonder. So now this is a big old boulder field right here. Big rocks. Push this out a little bit so you can see what I'm walking through here. So you have to be very careful when you're walking on these big boulders that you don't twist an ankle. Yesterday, I don't think I mentioned it, yesterday when I was hiking twice, I caught my foot in between a couple stones. And body kept moving, but the foot didn't. So fortunately I didn't hurt anything. Looks like it's been very, very dry. You can see where the water would have come up here, but now there's nothing because it's just so arid. But yeah, it is interesting why nobody carved anything up there. Doesn't make any sense to me, because I would. I mean, I see all kinds of rocks and stuff that have tumbled on the way down, and there's some nice looking faces that you could be putting some designs in, but instead they focus their efforts down below. Fascinating. So we'll walk up a little ways further and see what kind of trouble we can get into here. Well, I think I'm going to call it. Going further, I don't think it's going to buy me much. I'm not going to go up the mountain today. It's just too hot. Look at the view that we have from here. Beautiful view. Yeah, hopefully I'll get back here next year to visit one of my favorite spots, which is the Superstition Mountains here in Arizona. Stay at the Lost Dutchman. Hopefully the weather will be a little kinder to me. But if not, I'll do it anyway. 'Cause that's how I roll.